Hi everybody, I'm Richard. This is Small Caliber Arms Review, and while my CZ512 is back to the factory to get fixed or see what's wrong with it anyways, I picked up another 22 Magnum Semi Auto. This is a Rossi RS22M. I had the Rossi RS22, which shot just fine, but it's just a 22 long rifle. This one is 22 Magnum. 22 Magnum is a little trickier when it comes to semi-autos anyways. That's why there's not a whole lot of them out there. The ammo's a little more expensive too, so that kind of cuts down on it. But this is a delayed blowback 22 Magnum semi-auto rifle, and we're going to get it out of the box, see what's in the box, get it out of the box, take it apart, clean it up, and then get it out on the range and see how it does. All right, inside here is some paperwork, a lead warning. You got your magazine. Now this is a 10-round magazine. It's going to be a little different than the CZ. And then underneath this flap in a noisy plastic bag is the rifle. All right, we got the rifle out of there. Also underneath those cardboard flaps in there, you're gonna have some paperwork, some other paperwork. You're gonna have your lock. You're gonna have some warnings in here: alcohol, drugs, and guns don't mix, firearm responsibility, and your owner's manual, instruction manual for the Rossi Semi-Auto Rimfire rifle. Now this is, like I said, it's a semi-auto 22 Magnum, and there's always been an issue with them, at least most of them, in the rifles and the handguns. Most of the time you see them in a bolt action or a single shot or even revolvers. And there's a reason for that, and it's because the way a 22 Magnum works, the powder charge, there's a whole lot of mechanics to it, but you just don't see a whole lot of them until I think it was Savage come out with a nice 22 Magnum semi-auto delayed blowback rifle, and some of the other manufacturers are coming out with them too. Now you've seen the CZ512 video I did. I had a few issues with it and wasn't real happy with it. We'll get the chamber flag out of there. And we're going to go ahead and get this thing taken apart. Now to take it apart, you do have to have tools to get it apart, so you got to take these two screws out of it right there. We'll get those out and then look inside of it and see what's up. All right, get the stock pulled off of there. And then there's going to be two pins in the receiver here. They're pretty small pins that you're going to have to push those out, and then you can pull the trigger, the fire assembly group, or the trigger group away from it anyways. And there you go, there's all your workings inside there. Now this thing has really been well oiled from the factory, so we're going to wipe some of that excess off of there. A lot of times this is just shipping oil or packing oil, preservative. It's not for lubrication, so we'll go ahead and get it all cleaned up, and then we'll get it lubed up properly and then get it ready to get out in the field. Now to take the bolt out of here, here's the bolt. I got it flipped upside down there, and this is a I don't know if this is, yeah, that's actually a forged or cast steel receiver on this thing, so it's not aluminum. So it's ought to be a pretty good material anyways, and the bolt is also steel. So to get this thing out of here, you got this little plastic piece right here, which just kind of flops around in there, but that's what holds your guide rod and your recoil spring in place. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and pull that up, and be careful, it's not a captive unit, so keep your fingers on the ready to catch the end of that. There's your spring, just pull it all the way out of there, set that off to the side. Pull your bolt back. Now your spring is what helps hold your charging handle in, so get that back there, get it wiggled around, and you should be able to get it out. There we go. It's got a little hook on it there, so it will come out. Now to get this out, go ahead and tip it up to the side maybe and let it come out of there a little bit. Now there's some pieces on the top here. This is where your charging handle goes in right there, and this piece just kind of sits in there loose, and there's another little piece right here. This is your delay mechanism in the delayed blowback. That's what helps this rifle operate the way it's supposed to. And then you've got your firing pin is down inside there. It'll move back and forth. Your firing pin, your hammer is going to hit the back of your firing pin there, run it into the round there. There's your extractor right there, and your ejector is on your piece right here. So we got the hammer cocked on there. We'll go ahead and pull that and take it off safe and pull that, and there's your hammer. Don't let it fly forward when it's out of the rifle like that anyways. Get that pulled back into place there, put the safety back on so I don't accidentally let it fly. And now this thing is probably the biggest pain there is to put back together. We're going to go ahead and get it wiped down first because I don't need all that shipping oil in there, and then I want to run a bore snake through it and make sure there's nothing in the bore, and then we'll get it lubed up properly and then get it ready for the range. Like I said, it's either cast or forged. It's probably forged and machined. I don't see any casting marks on it, but who knows. But it's definitely a good substantial metal there, not plastic and not aluminum. Okay, now that I've got it all lubed up and everything, we're going to tip this thing back on its side to put the bolt back in there. And there's an area where it goes in between there and the back. If you put it in like that, just drop it in, you're liable to drop these pieces out of there. So it's easier if you go ahead and roll it over to its side and then just slide it right on in there. And once you've got it in, then go ahead and get it lined up and slide it forward. I do have everything all nice and lubed up in there, so I might put a little bit more on these rails in the back there or in the top, and everything slides nice and freely. Now this is going to be the hardest part. Go ahead and put your charging handle back in there. Make sure you got it turned the right way because it's only going to work one way. Get that put back in there. Now we got to get this spring back in there. This piece is not attached to it, so it just kind of, you know, it's just a little block to hold it in place there. There is no groove in the back of the receiver there for that pin to go in. And then you're just going to take and put it right down in there. There's the hole in the bolt that it goes in. You're going to want to use this piece to kind of help you hold on to it. And I've already done this before, and it's really a pain to get that pushed down in there because your spring's going to want to bind on you a little bit as you're trying to get it in there. So hopefully I can do this first try, maybe. I don't know if you'll be able to see it because my big fat fingers are going to be in the way though. And if you let this slip, that pin is going to go flying. I've already had to retrieve it a couple times. And there we go. I got it the first try that time. And that's it. That piece is just going to flop around in there. I'm not a real big fan of that. I'm sure the fire control group probably helps hold it into place. And then you're just going to put that right back in there. And make sure your pins are lined up there, and put your pins, or your holes are lined up, and put your pins right back in it. And they should slide in pretty easy. And we'll give them just a gentle tap. Make sure they're seated all the way in there. Then you should be able to put everything right back in the receiver or in the stock, and it should be good to go. Got the action back in the stock, got it all lubed up, tighten the screws down on it. Now it is a plastic, polymer stock, whatever you want to call it. Make sure everything works properly in it. It's rim fire, so you don't want to dry fire it. Actually, there's your bolt hold open. I think it's a different model that you actually push that back in there, but your bolt hold open is right there at the front of the trigger guard. And that lets it go. Your magazine release is right there. I got no rounds in the magazine. Now it's pretty good size magazine on there too, but it is a 10 round magazine instead of the 5 round of the CZ. And it's got a little mark on there to show you where your 10 rounds are going to be. Your mag catch is underneath there, so you're going to take your thumb, put it on there, pull it forward, and pull it out. Sort of like an AK magazine. You know, it does not come with any sights on it. It's got the Picatinny rail on the top of it there, so we'll go ahead and I had to take the scope off of the CZ to send it back, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on here, and we'll get this thing out on the range and give it a try. Okay, got the scope all mounted up there, and we're going to go ahead and take this thing out on the range and see how it does. See if I have any cycling issues with this. Like I said, this is a little different mechanism. It's a delayed blowback, and hopefully it'll do like it's supposed to. And we're going to use the same ammo used in the CZ. This is CCI MaxiMag 22 WMR. It's the target ammo. It is 40 grain, 1875 feet per second. And we'll see if that does like it's supposed to do. Like I said, 10 round magazine. So, man, I hope I don't have to, you know, manually cycle it every time. All right, everybody, we're out here on the range. It is very cold out. I think it's like a high of 17 today. And I don't think it's quite there yet. It's very cold, that's for sure. Anyways, I already got the magazine loaded up. It's a really easy magazine to load too, because it's got the little followers, the thumb finger pieces there on the follower, so you can pull it down really easy to load it up. So we're gonna go ahead and I chipped most of the snow out of the way, and I'm only going to shoot it at 50 yards. I'm not so much worried about sighting it in today as I am about seeing if it cycles. I've got two things. It's a 22 Magnum Semi Auto, and it's really cold outside, so we'll see how it does. I'm going to get it charged up, give it a shot, and see if it'll cycle. All right, there's 5 shots. It cycled just like it's supposed to do. Man, it's cold out here. I do know it is hitting way high. It is probably, a good 8 inches high and 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 inches to the right. So let me go ahead. I will go ahead and, you know, I gotta get it close anyways. Okay, now I've still got 5 more rounds in there because it's a 10 round magazine. We'll go ahead and give it a shot, see how it does. All right, it does hold open on the last round, but if you pull the magazine out, I think the bolt closes then. Yeah, the bolt does close, so to hold it open, pull it back, and right in front of the trigger guard, you got your bolt catch on there. I don't know why it holds open if it's going to close when you pull the magazine out. It'd be nice to be able to stick another magazine right in it without having to do it. Usually that's the whole reason a bolt holds open anyways. Let's go up and take a real quick look at those and see how it did. And I'm not going to do too much more because it's really cold out here, but we'll go take a peek at it anyways. Okay, here's my groups right here. This is my first 5 shots up here. Like I said, really high and to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A little over an inch, maybe 1.5 inch group. This is my second 5-shot group. There's 2 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just under a 1-inch group. And yeah, I'm not really taking my time to try to get this just like it's you know, my best shooting. I just want to make sure it works. And it does. It works just fine. It works just like it's supposed to. Even in the extremely cold temperatures out here, it's pretty chilly, but it does what it's supposed to do. Anyways, let's go back up to the bench real quick. Okay, now the Rossi RS22M is going to be a lot less expensive rifle than the CZ. At about half the price. I think it was right at 300 bucks for the Rossi, and 570 something, somewhere around that neighborhood for the CZ. Now the CZ is a much better looking rifle, but it really doesn't matter what it looks like if it doesn't shoot well anyways. All right, here it is, the Rossi. It is unloaded. There's nothing in the magazine, nothing in the chamber either. Like I said, it's a fairly inexpensive rifle, and it's a 22 Magnum, and it functions like a semi-automatic firearm should function. Not too bad on the accuracy, not taking my time. It is really cold. I wish I had some nice big thick mittens on, but I mean, it is what it is, a 22 Magnum, and it functions like it's supposed to. What more can you ask for? Anyways, thanks for watching Small Caliber Arms Review. If you could, hit this button up here to check out some of my other videos. Hit this button over here to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm getting out of this cold and getting in front of the fire. Thanks for watching. I should be doing a leather project today.